Okay, this is going to be the recipe for Hilma's Buns. So we're going to start off with yeast. I have 6 3/4 tablespoons of yeast. And I'm going to start up warm water. You need about 4 cups. I got 4 cups of warm water in there, so I'm going to dissolve the yeast. Now that the yeast is dissolved in the warm water, it's time to add 1 cup of white sugar. I added the sugar. Now you need 1 tablespoon of salt plus 1 teaspoon of salt. Give that a mix with a whisk until it all dissolves. This is what the mixture looks like now. So it's time to add 2 cups of flour, and then you're going to mix it well. I have 2 1/3 cups of melted butter that I ran through the microwave. Now I'm going to add 3 eggs into the melted butter and beat them with the mixer. Make sure you beat every time after each egg is cracked, so it will beat evenly. This is what the butter and egg mixture looks like. Now you add it to your yeast and sugar and flour mixture. I'm using a stand mixer. You're gonna set it at a low speed and pour in your eggs and butter. Slowly. Now that the butter and eggs are mixed in, it's time to add the rest of the flour. You're going to use about up to 13 cups of butter for bread flour. This is the best flour to use for this recipe. You can use the stand mixer until it gets harder to beat. Add the flour a cup at a time. This is what it looks like after 4 cups of flour. Now it's time to switch to the dough hook. I used the regular beaters, the regular flat beater so far, so now it's time for the dough hook. This is what the dough looks like now. I'm doing a full batch, so the mixer didn't work fairly well. If you do a half, you can finish the kneading process in the KitchenAid, in the mixer. Now it's time to take it out of the bowl and put it on the countertop. I'm going to dust the counter with some flour. I've been kneading the dough for a couple minutes, adding a little bit of flour. So this is what your dough looks like now. When you knead, you want to go put your palm in the dough and knead it out. This is the dough right now. It needs a little bit more flour because it's still sticking to the counter. And I've been kneading it for about 5 minutes, sprinkling flour as much as I need. So I'm going to add some more flour and keep kneading until it stops sticking to the counter. So I kneaded it a bit more, and I didn't really add too much flour, just a couple sprinkles full. And so this is what your dough should look like. Now it's time to let it rise. So I'm gonna take some butter and grease the bowl. Make sure your bowl is clean. And I'm gonna grease the bowl and put the dough in there. Now my bowl is greased. Now it's time to put the dough in the bowl. Now my dough is in the bowl, and it's time to let the dough rise. Place it somewhere warm and cover it with a towel. Tuck it in. So the dough has been sitting out here for a little while, and I had a timer on for about an hour and nothing's happening, so I'm going to move it to the dishwasher. I ran the dishwasher so it's on the clean cycle, so it's nice and warm. So I'm going to put it on the bottom shelf. Still covered up. So I'll be right there. And put it in there for a little bit, for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. So I had it in the dishwasher for, I don't know, about an hour. And so now it's like twice the size. It's time to get all the air bubbles out and let it rise again. So I pushed it down and released some of the air. So now it's time to let it rise again. So I covered it back up, and I'm gonna put it on the oven. I preheated the oven to like 200, just so it'll be in a warm area. I'm gonna let this sit for probably another hour, 30 minutes to an hour. Here's our dough. It has sat on the stove for about an hour to 2 hours, with the oven being at 200 degrees. So now it's time to make into buns. It's okay if the top feels a little dry. Once you punch it down and get all the air bubbles out, the big air bubble out, it'll turn in, it'll be soft again. So you want to take about this much dough in your hand, and then you want to mix and kind of make a dome shape, and then make sure the top is all smoothed out, tucking it in underneath, the edges underneath. And putting them on the baking sheet. Now that they're all made into buns, they need to set for 15 minutes. Then you bake them. I have my oven preheated to 350, and it's time to put them in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. Now that they're done, they bake for 20 minutes. They're all golden brown. Now you're gonna, while they're still pretty warm, you take butter and you can just go over the top with them. That is how you make Hilma's buns.